It's 5:30 p.m. You haven't defrosted anything. You open the fridge twice, hoping something would appear that wasn't there the first time. And someone, and you know exactly who, just walked into the kitchen and said, "So what's for dinner?" And at that moment, you have two options. You can spiral, or you can walk outside, fire up the Blackstone, and have a real dinner on the table in 20 minutes that your family will actually be excited about. No complicated techniques, no special ingredients, just a flat top surface that does things your stove and your oven genuinely cannot. I've been making these 7 dinners on repeat, and I need to share them with you because most people who own a Blackstone are using maybe 10% of what this thing can actually do. And the last one I'm saving for the very end because it's the one that finally got my husband to stop making fun of my Blackstone obsession. He ate 3 of them without saying a single word. That's all I'm going to say for now. Stay with me. If you've had a Blackstone for any amount of time, I'd be willing to bet that smash burgers are in heavy rotation, maybe some bacon and eggs on a weekend morning, and then the cover goes back on and it sits there until next time. And listen, smash burgers are incredible, and I will never tell you to stop making them, but you spent $300 or more on this thing, and what you have in your backyard is essentially a commercial flat-top restaurant griddle, the same surface that short-order cooks use to put out 50 plates an hour. The size, the heat zones, the ability to cook multiple things simultaneously with almost no cleanup, that is the unfair advantage you are not using yet. These 7 dinners are going to change that. The first one is breakfast for dinner, but not in the sad, we gave up on cooking way. In the everyone at the table is genuinely excited way. I'm talking about breakfast crunch wraps, and the Blackstone makes them better than any version you've ever had from a drive-thru. Here's why this works so well on the griddle. You have bacon, hash brown patties, and scrambled eggs all going at the same time on one surface, which means everything is hot and ready together instead of the usual juggling act of keeping things warm while you finish other things. Start your bacon on one side of the griddle and your hash brown patties on the other. These are the frozen kind and they go straight onto the flat top, no thawing needed. While those are cooking, push them over and scramble your eggs in the center. Season them simply, salt, pepper, a little cheese. Now here's the move that takes this from good to genuinely great. When your bacon is done, slide your hash browns into the bacon fat. That fat delivers flavor and crunch in a way that oil alone never will. Get those hash browns golden and crispy on both sides. That's your crunch layer, and it's the whole point of a crunch wrap. Build it on the griddle surface. A little shredded cheese on the bottom of the large tortilla, scrambled eggs, chopped bacon, hash brown patty for the crunch, a small tortilla piece on top to cover the filling, then fold the sides over. Seam side down onto the griddle with butter. Press it gently. 2 minutes and it's sealed, golden, and holding itself together perfectly. The inside is creamy from the egg, salty from the bacon, and there's a crunch from that hash brown that you simply do not get from any other version of this. Add jalapeno if you want a little heat. My family asks for these on a Tuesday, and I make them without a second thought because the cleanup is one wipe of the griddle surface. That one is your weeknight lifesaver. But the next one, this is what you make when someone's coming over and you want to look like you actually tried. You have done smash burgers on your Blackstone. I know you have, and they are excellent. But I need you to try jalapeno popper chicken smash tacos, because once you do, smash burgers are going to feel like a warm-up act. Start with the bacon, get it on the griddle and cook it until it's properly crispy, not flexible, actually crispy, because you're going to chop it up and fold it into the filling and nobody wants chewy bacon in a taco. While that's going, mix your ground chicken with diced jalapeno, seeds and ribs removed so you get the flavor without too much heat, garlic powder, salt, and shredded cheddar cheese. When the bacon is done, chop it and mix it right in. For the sauce, and this is what makes the whole thing, cream cheese, sour cream, fresh lime juice, a little salt. Mix it until it's smooth, that's it. That's the sauce that's going to tie every bite together. Now the cook. Use the smallest street taco-sized tortillas you can find. Take a small handful of your chicken mixture and spread it all the way to the edges of the tortilla in a thin, even layer. Add a little oil and some of that bacon fat to the griddle. You want both for flavor and for the crust. And lay your loaded tortillas down, chicken side facing the hot surface. These cook in 3 to 4 minutes on the first side. You will know they are ready when you can see the cheese beginning to crust against the griddle and the edges of the tortilla start to lift slightly. Flip. 1 more minute. What happens in that cook is something genuinely special. The chicken cooks all the way through, the cheese forms a crust on the bottom, the tortilla gets seared into the filling, so it becomes part of the taco instead of just a wrapper. You can fit 12 of these on a standard griddle at once, which means dinner for your whole family is done in one batch. Top with your lime cream sauce, shredded lettuce, and fresh cilantro. Roll it. The first bite has smoke from the bacon, heat from the jalapeno, creaminess from the sauce, and a crunch from that seared cheese crust. It's a 13 out of 10, and I don't say that lightly. Okay, this next one is going to sound too simple, and I need you to push past that feeling because it is faster than delivery, cheaper than delivery, and the crust is better than what comes out of your oven. Griddle pizza, store-bought dough, that's it. Get your griddle hot. Stretch your dough out into whatever shape you can manage. Rustic is fine. Perfect circles are not the point here. Lay it down and move it around gently for even contact with the surface. Within about 2 minutes, you'll see it bubbling underneath and the bottom starting to set. When you can lift an edge and see a golden base forming with a little char, it's ready to flip. Flip it, and now you top it. Sauce, cheese, whatever you're putting on it, directly onto the cooked side while the raw side is now against the griddle. This matters. You've already set one side, so the base isn't going anywhere. Put your dome lid on. This is the detail that changes everything. The dome traps heat above the pizza while the griddle surface continues to sear the crust from below. Your oven heats from one direction. The griddle with the dome hits the pizza from both sides simultaneously. The result is a crust that is genuinely crispy on the bottom, not soft, not pale, actually crispy, with fully melted, bubbling cheese on top. Start to finish, 10 minutes. Get smaller dough balls and let everyone make their own. Lay out toppings like a little pizza station outside. This is one of the most fun family dinners you can do on the griddle, and it costs almost nothing. The next time you're about to open the delivery app, I want you to remember this. That one feels like cheating, it's so easy. But here's where we cross into dinner territory that feels genuinely special, and this next one is the reason my family now calls Friday nights Griddle Night. We are halfway through, and I have not yet shown you the dinner that made my Cajun friends say a plus plus, or the one that turns a Tuesday into a date night, or the one my husband ate 3 of without a word. All of that is still coming. Stay with me, because the back half of this list is where things get really good. This is the dinner you make when you want to feel like you have your life completely together. Garlic butter steak, bites with smashed Parmesan potatoes and asparagus. Restaurant date night in your backyard for less than $25 on a weeknight. Start your potatoes first because they take the longest. Parboil them until they're soft enough to smash. You can do this in the microwave in a bowl of water if you don't want to boil a pot, which is the move on a weeknight. Get them onto the griddle with oil, then smash them flat with your burger press. Leave them completely alone. This is the most important instruction of this entire recipe. Do not touch them. Let them sit and build their crust. That crust is everything. After a few minutes, flip, add a little more oil, and sprinkle Parmesan cheese on top. The cheese melts into the crispy surface and creates a crust on both sides that is somehow both delicate and deeply satisfying at the same time. Your asparagus goes on in the last few minutes. Oil, salt, pepper, a little char. Done in 2 minutes. Simple on purpose because everything else on this plate already has a lot of flavor. For the steak bites, cut your sirloin into cubes and season generously with salt, pepper, garlic powder, and smoked paprika. Your griddle needs to be screaming hot for this. You want a dark, fast sear on the outside while the inside stays tender. These are small pieces, so they cook quickly. 1 minute per side, maybe a little more depending on size. The moment they've got color, add your butter and minced garlic directly to the griddle surface. Watch the butter melt and foam around the steak. It picks up every bit of flavor from the sear and infuses right back into the meat. Spoon it over everything. The wide surface of the Blackstone gives you a sear that a home skillet genuinely cannot match. The contact area, the heat retention, the ability to have everything cooking simultaneously, this is where the flat top earns its price tag. Plate the steak bites over the potatoes, asparagus alongside, a spoon of that garlic butter over everything, a little fresh parsley. It looks like $45. It took 20 minutes. This next one is for the night when you need people to think you're a better cook than you actually are. Creamy Cajun tortellini with sausage and shrimp. And here's the part that's going to seem impossible until you see it. You are not boiling water. You are not cooking pasta on the stove. The tortellini cooks directly on the griddle. Start with your andouille sausage, slice it and get it on the griddle to render its fat and build flavor into the surface. This is the same logic as starting with bacon. Fat equals flavor, and the sausage fat is going to carry through every component of this dish. Once the sausage is browned, add the Cajun trinity: celery, onion, and bell pepper. Cook them in that sausage fat until they're tender and starting to caramelize. On a separate zone of your griddle, add oil and lay out your refrigerated tortellini. These are mostly pre-cooked. They just need 2 or 3 minutes of heat. Coat them in the oil, get them into a pile, and put your dome lid on with a small splash of water underneath it to create steam. That steam finishes cooking the tortellini and keeps them tender, while the griddle gives the ones on the bottom a little char and bite. Meanwhile, your shrimp goes on last. Cajun seasoning, 30 seconds per side, done. Shrimp cooks so fast on a hot flat top that the biggest mistake you can make is leaving it on too long. Bring everything together on the surface. Pour heavy cream directly onto the griddle. It will bubble immediately and start reducing because of the surface area. Add Parmesan and let it thicken. The cream sauce comes together in under 2 minutes, which would take 5 or 6 minutes in a pan on the stove. Squeeze of lemon to cut the richness. Toss everything together. The tortellini has cream sauce clinging to it, char marks from the griddle, and the Cajun spice from the andouille running through the whole dish. A friend who grew up in Louisiana tasted this and gave it an A++. That is the only review that matters. 1 batch of chicken, 2 completely different dinners, 10 minutes. This is the crispy Parmesan chicken, and the secret is in the coating. Thin chicken cutlets. If yours are thick, pound them down or butterfly them. Season with salt and pepper. Set up 2 shallow dishes, one with beaten egg and a splash of water, one with a mixture of breadcrumbs, finely grated Parmesan, Italian seasoning, and garlic powder. The Parmesan is not decoration. It melts into the breadcrumbs during cooking and creates a crust that delivers flavor through anything you put on top of it. Dip each cutlet in egg, then press it into the breadcrumb mixture, and make sure you've got coverage all the way to the edges. Get your griddle hot with a coat of olive oil. The key here is temperature. You need it hot enough to set the crust quickly without steaming the coating. Lay the cutlets down and resist moving them. 3 minutes. You'll know it's ready when the edges look golden and the coating releases cleanly from the surface. Flip. 3 more minutes. For chicken parm, spoon marinara sauce onto the griddle surface next to the chicken, not on it, because you worked hard for that crust and you are not ruining it with steam. Lay sliced mozzarella on top. Lower the heat. Add a tiny splash of water near the sauce to create steam. Put the dome on. 2 minutes. The cheese melts completely, the sauce is warmed through, and your crust is still intact underneath. For the chicken Caesar sandwich, toast your bun cut side down on the griddle. 30 seconds. Load it with bagged Caesar salad and the cutlet. Done. 1 cook session, 2 dinners. The Parmesan crust is so good that both versions taste completely different and both are genuinely excellent. This is the one I make when I want maximum return on minimum effort. Okay, we're here, the last one. The one my husband ate 3 of. I need to set the scene. This man has tolerated my Blackstone phase with the quiet resignation of someone who has accepted that there are worse obsessions. He eats whatever I make, says it's good, and goes back to watching whatever game is on. That is the full extent of his food enthusiasm. So when he came back for a second one, I noticed. When he came back for a third one, I said nothing. I just let it happen. Griddled sloppy Joe, grilled cheese. Brown your ground beef with diced onion directly on the griddle, breaking it up as it cooks. Once it's browned and the onion is softened, push it into a pile and build the sauce right there on the surface. Chili sauce, which is basically kicked up ketchup. Worcestershire, a squeeze of yellow mustard, brown sugar, salt, pepper, and a splash of water to make it properly saucy. Stir it into the meat. It will start to smell exactly like a sloppy Joe within about 30 seconds, and everyone nearby will immediately want to know what you're making. Now, the move that makes this completely different from every sloppy Joe you've ever had. Take your hamburger buns and flip them inside out. The soft, pillowy inside of the bun becomes the outside surface. Butter that surface generously. Lay them butter side down on the griddle just like you're making a grilled cheese. Press them gently. Let them get golden. Now build it on the griddle. A slice of cheese on the toasted surface. A generous pile of your sloppy Joe meat. Another slice of cheese. The second bun, butter side up. Press the whole thing down. Flip it like a grilled cheese and let the second side get golden. What you end up with is a bun that has absorbed the griddle's seasoning on the outside and stayed soft and slightly sweet on the inside. The cheese is melted completely through. The meat is saucy and savory and has the perfect ratio to bread because you built it that way. It's a patty melt and a sloppy Joe and a grilled cheese all at once, and it is the messiest, most indulgent, most satisfying thing I have made on the Blackstone. He said nothing. He made a second one, then a third. I win. 7 dinners. 1 griddle. 15 to 20 minutes each. Breakfast crunch wraps for the chaotic weeknight. Jalapeno popper smashed tacos when you want to impress someone. Griddle pizza faster than delivery. Garlic butter steak bites for a date night that doesn't require a reservation. Creamy Cajun tortellini that makes you look like you actually went to culinary school. Crispy Parmesan chicken 2 ways from 1 cook. And a sloppy Joe grilled cheese that will make someone in your house eat 3 of them without saying a word. The Blackstone is not a burger machine. It is the most versatile cooking surface you own, and you haven't even scratched the surface of what it can do. So tell me in the comments, which one are you making first? I read every single one, and I genuinely want to know. If this gave you something useful today, share it with someone who's been leaving their griddle under the cover. And I'll see you in the next one.